it's a widespread problem that data becomes its own trap, because things that become measurable become a focus and we start to optimize around them. But very often the key to success is in a metric that is somewhat removed from the activity you're doing. Conversion rate optimization is a key topic within B2B website strategy, within B2B marketing, and in the minds of marketers everywhere, I'm sure. But there is a disconnect, and there are lies that are told that produce the wrong outcomes for business and worsen the misalignment and the disconnect between teams within them. Ultimately, conversion rate optimization doesn't always mean optimizing for more leads. It can, in fact, mean the exact opposite, trying to reduce conversion rate. Optimization does not necessarily only mean increase. Today on Websites Decoded, we're going to talk about some of the counterintuitive ways that you should think about conversion rate optimization to drive the biggest result for your B2B organization. Did you know that most businesses only use 20% of their data? That's like trying to solve a puzzle with 80% of the pieces missing, or paying for a coffee that's only 1/5 full. Point is, you miss a lot, unless you use HubSpot. Their customer platform gives you access to the data you need to grow your business. The insights trapped in emails, call logs and transcripts, all that unstructured data that makes all the difference. Because when you know more, you grow more. And when you get a full cup of coffee, you can do more too. But I digress. Visit HubSpot.com today. I talk a lot about conversion rate optimization on Websites Decoded and with clients here at Blend, and it's a really important topic that I find fascinating and I'm really passionate about. But it's often misunderstood. One of the things that I read recently was something from Pete Layar at Winter/CXL in the past, and they wrote that sometimes in B2B optimizing means aiming for less, because typically within B2B marketing, we've always been told to increase our results, drive up our performance, and generate more leads for our sales team. So that has led to behavior where we optimize for the metric that is leads. And leads very often means a contact in the database, maybe with some kind of behavioral lead score if we're lucky. But the problem with that approach is that the human cost of the sales team that has to process that high volume of leads, that are largely unqualified, is huge. We all know the conversion rate on that type of lead is low, and yet we hand those off to human resources that are very costly to employ, and drive down their performance as a result of processing all of those leads. It's because the conversion rate optimization that needs to take place should not be one of generating the highest number of leads that you can. The measurement, the metric around which you optimize should always be the business metric in the pipeline. So that is the revenue result that you drive, or the pipeline value, if you want to look at it that way, in combination with the sales effort that takes place. The key to successful conversion rate optimization is knowing what matters in terms of metrics and optimizing around them, as opposed to optimizing for the next point of measurement in the chain or the customer journey. This is true all the way through the buying process and all the way through most of the channels that you use. It's very easy to get caught in a trap of optimizing for click-through rate on Google ads or on LinkedIn ads, or CPC and platform metrics like that, because they're the next thing that you measure after you invest that budget or you invest that effort. And with your website, it's no different. You might build, things that try to get more and more visitors to convert, for any reason whatsoever, no matter what, so that you can then score them and pass them on to sales. But it's counterproductive, and doesn't drive up the real result. If you're enjoying this show, let me recommend another one from the HubSpot podcast network. This Old Marketing, hosted by Joe Paluzzi and Robert Rose. What I love about this podcast is how Joe and Robert break down what's actually working in content marketing right now. And if you're building websites that convert, you need to understand the content strategy that's driving them. Their recent episode on biggest marketing stories coming in 2026 had me taking notes the entire time. They're calling out trends before everyone else is even talking about them. Real insights and classic marketing lessons, all in under an hour. Listen to This Old Marketing wherever you get your podcasts. It's not unusual for businesses to have a real disparity where, marketing are targeted based on the net number of leads that they can generate and celebrate successes in that area, while sales are conversely, obviously celebrating, deals won revenue, but, ruining the poor quality of lead marketing supplied leads, and also, quite concerningly, targeting a completely different cohort of buyers via their outbound prospecting efforts, which just goes to highlight the fact that what you're optimizing for potentially isn't well aligned and well suited to driving the business outcome that you seek. So conversion rate optimization of your B2B website is all about optimizing the amount of revenue it generates, and the precursors to revenue are things like high intent leads. So these are the leads that have a high declared intent to purchase, meaning they're the ones that convert only on offers that are commercial in nature. That might be a demo request, it might be a trial, it might be a conversation, but crucially it's an action that they take because it aligns to where they are in the buying process because of all the things that you've done as a marketer to get them there. So rather than optimizing your website for blog subscribers or ebook downloads or webinar attendees, as a priority, as an exclusive priority, you want to be thinking about what is the journey that they go on that produces a commercial inquiry at the bottom of the funnel that reflects high intent. And your approach is all about understanding the buyer, why they buy, what information they need in order to make that purchase decision, and what will deter people and prevent them either from purchasing from you when they talk to sales, or from expressing interest and intent before they do, and then applying those insights to the page. And again, crucially, the outcome of this might not be to increase the net number of actions that take place, of events that occur on your website, but it should increase the number of leads that are generated that go on to become a pipeline opportunity or revenue that you've won. So for example, it's a case of saying, well, instead of potentially shortening every form to the bare minimum or removing forms altogether, these might be effective ways of ensuring the quality of the leads that do pass through. It serves your buyer. It doesn't serve your buyer at all to simply allow anyone to enter your rep's time, your meeting scheduler, your calendar, etc. Forms and form fields and questions can be very useful qualifiers for them and for you. It's a widespread problem that data becomes its own trap, because things that become measurable become a focus and we start to optimize around them. But very often the key to success is in a metric that is somewhat removed from the activity you're doing, and somewhat removed from the measurements that are directly correlated with the activity you're doing, but they provide you with the best approach and the best insight with which to produce the business outcome you seek. So when you're conversion rate optimizing your website, which is something that I implore you all to do a great deal of, don't fall into the trap of optimizing for low value, easy to get events like leads that you will then score and pass on to sales. Optimize instead for the business outcome that you want to drive, and use the insights that gives you to build the conversion rate optimization experiments that you run. Most B2B teams don't realize how much their website is holding them back. VDOC were generating strong demand, but their site just wasn't converting it. We rebuilt their site with their buyers in mind, sharpened the experience, and aligned it to their goals. Within 90 days, high-intent conversions increased by 100%, and demo requests rose by 14%. This is what happens when your website finally works as hard as your marketing. If you think yours might be holding you back, let's start the conversation at blendb2b.com.